Good afternoon, everybody. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and I'm happy to be here in the town of Somers with Supervisor Rick Morrissey, who's going to speak to you in a second. He's going to introduce Tom Garrity more formally, the Deputy Supervisor. We're here for our daily 2 o'clock Westchester coronavirus update. We'll go over that and a couple of other things that relate to it. I'm joined today by two folks who are very good friends, terrific public officials, and residents of the town of Somers. This is a way for me to show off some of the Somers talent that's part of our administration. Mike Kaplowitz is currently our Deputy Commissioner for the Department of Environmental Facilities. He is tackling a very difficult task for sewer consolidation, but Mike and I served as county legislators together, and he served 4 years, 2 terms as chairman of the Board of Legislators. So Mike, it's nice for you to be here. And with us also is Gary Friedman. Gary's our Director of Real Estate, has been since the beginning of our administration. He served with Mike as a key staffer of the Board of Legislators prior to that, and he's brought a lot of his professionalism here. So Gary, it's good to have you here as well. And when the boss invites you to your hometown at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I think it's a shortened day when we're done here, since Somers is right down the road. So their wives can thank me for that little bit of largesse. But I'm very happy that Mike and Gary are part of our team. As I said, we're here with Rick Morrissey in the town of Somers. I want to give some of the statistics very quickly, and then we'll go to the supervisor. Today's numbers for the state on behalf of the county continue to show the diminution of the COVID outbreak here in Westchester County. This is now basically 2+ months of reduction of numbers that follow the peak that we had at the end of March, beginning of April. The numbers for today show that we have now 546 active cases. That's on 34,581 total positive tests for COVID over the course of 3.5 months, and 34,035 of them are 2 weeks or more in duration. So if they haven't become sick, then they have cleared themselves of COVID, fought it out of their system. 546 active cases. That's a very low number. A week ago, we had 725 cases. 2 weeks ago, 928 cases. 3 weeks ago, 1,231. So you can see the continual reduction. We're not out of the woods yet, but we're moving in the right direction. Hospitalizations at the current time, the most recent number we have is 90 people hospitalized for COVID. If you go back to the peak period of time a couple of months ago, we had almost 1,200 people hospitalized for COVID. And in our the fatalities, the overnight deaths, every human being is precious, and we lost one person last night. The total is over 1,400, 1,416 in terms of total deaths, but we are now averaging 0 to 1 to 2 deaths a night at most. And if you go back again over that period of time, we had nights where we lost 40 people, 45 people, 50 people, a tragedy beyond calculation. So as we've continued to drop, we have moved now into phase 3. I'm going to talk about what that is a little more after the supervisor has a chance to speak. But the bottom line is we're moving in the right direction. We would wish we could open up more faster. I think at the town level, the town of Somers and all the other towns, cities, and villages, and those of us at the county level, we're trying to do everything we can to get back to as close to normal as we can be. But since we're here, hosted in the town of Somers by this beautiful town, it's a very historic site. There's some voting going on today. It is primary day. For those who vote in primaries, the polls will stay open to 9 o'clock here and all across Westchester County. Let me introduce to you the supervisor for the town of Somers, the Honorable Rick Morrissey. Rick?
Thank you, George. First off, I want to thank the county executive for coming to Somers today. I think our town board as a whole thinks he's done a great job in a very difficult situation. I'd like to introduce my Deputy Commissioner, Tom Garrity, who's really been my right-hand man through all of this. And I want to say I'm very proud of the town of Somers. We asked early on to help us bend the curve, flatten the curve of the COVID outbreak. Not only has this town flattened it, they bent it, they curved it. We are in very good shape in the town of Somers. When you reference the positive cases in this town, we still are showing a high number. The good news, if there is good news in any kind of COVID outbreak, is that they are restricted to the nursing homes where increased testing is occurring. Outside of that demographic, the town of Somers has between 5 and 4 active cases within the town. So once again, I'm very proud of this town, of what we've been able to accomplish. And as we move forward into phase 3, we'll still be wearing masks, social distance, but we are Somers strong. We're staying safe, and I wish everyone good health. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, Tom. I know you've got to scoot off too, but thank you for being with us here
Thank
today.
you.
And I want to thank again Supervisor Rick Morrissey and his team, the members of the council. You see a lot of partisanship that goes on in politics these days. It's a bit of a fact of life. Certainly in Washington, that's the case. But here in Westchester County, regardless of political party, we've tried to work together cooperatively between town government, village government, city government, and the county government. And I'll go back to refer to Mike Kaplowitz as an example of that. In Mike's 22-year tenure as a county legislator, he was able to work across the aisle effectively. We're trying to do the same thing now as we face COVID and the other related issues that are at hand, the financial issues and, of course, the social justice issue that's before us. Right now, today is the day that we've entered phase 3, and the governor laid out a series of phases which different regions of the state would enter. We are part of the Mid-Hudson Valley, or the Lower Hudson Valley region. It's Westchester, Putnam, Rockland, Dutchess, Orange, Sullivan, and Ulster counties, and we have moved as a region. The Westchester numbers that I gave you is a significant portion of the region. Westchester is slightly above 40% of the Hudson Valley region, but we're not the whole region. So the diminution in numbers is shared in those other counties that we border as well. And of course, as Westchester County, we border Connecticut, and Connecticut obviously is on a different clock of activity. In the southern part of the county, we're right across the Hudson River from the state of New Jersey, and we border the city of New York, which is in a different region and slightly behind us. So there's all different kinds of comparisons and pressures that we're under in terms of what's open. And if you live in a different part of the county, in this phase 2 that just finished, I finally got my hair cut, long overdue. My neighbors in Greenwich, Connecticut could get their hair cut earlier than I could. And so we're trying to balance out all of these things. Phase 3 today offers us opening up of indoor dining to complement the outdoor dining that we've had in phase 2. Now, there's still a restriction of 50% capacity in those restaurants that open up indoor, but they'll have both indoor and outdoor dining, and the 50% applies to that portion that would be indoors. So the hope is that there'll be enough seats available for the restaurateurs to be able to get enough revenue now to start making a go of their operation. Many of our restaurant friends survived on takeout for 3 months, which is not financially viable, maybe keeps the lights on, but it makes it very difficult to make a go of it. But they kept going through that period of time. Outdoor dining helped them move a step forward, and we can go a little bit further now with the indoor dining. I'm told that I should spend some time and go to Bobo's here in town because they have pretty mean sandwiches. The Nacho Libre is supposed to be pretty good. In theory, I should be on a diet, but I'm more than happy to promote the restaurants throughout the county because we're very fortunate to have them, and they're important businesses. They're important employers. Many of the people that work at these restaurants have gone on unemployment or been out of luck financially for their families. So we're happy that these things are back with phase 3. Phase 3 also brings into play a number of personal care services. Probably the one that I've heard the most about from my female friends is that nail salons now are open today for the first time since the pandemic has occurred. There's also waxing, tanning, tattoo parlors. If you need to get a tattoo, today's the first day you can get that. Acupuncture is back up. There's a number of other different things. Massage therapy, that's all part of what's open today, and we're hopeful for that. Also, we understand the governor's made an announcement today raising the capacity of the number of people that can meet. Previously, what phase 3 represented was moving from groups of 10 to groups of 25. So we'll now take a look at what the governor's order today has made available. There's a pent-up demand for people to get together. It's just a human element for us to connect as people, and we certainly want that to happen. The weather is warm now, and there are people that are out there looking for ways to get out of the house, having been in the house for many of them since March. We know that high school graduation season has already been underway. Different school districts have done different things. We were happy to host at Playland a drive-in graduation for Rye Neck High School, right up the road, just over the border One of the other high schools, I believe John Jay, has a drive-in or had a drive-in graduation up the line at a drive-in in existing drive-in facility in Amenia, New York, and Dutchess County. And so everybody's trying to work out some different logistics. And I think with the governor's announcement today, there's going to be some other options, assuming that those things haven't yet been finalized from some of the different situations. There are still things that we don't have yet up and operative. Some of the larger groups that we look forward to in the summer have not yet been opened up, but we are looking at low-risk sports now are perfectly open. We as a county government opened up our golf courses, opened up Bicycle Sunday. In fact, we extended it through the summer months, which was not normally the case. We've opened up our 2 county beaches that we have access to in Playland and Croton Point Park. And this weekend we're opening 2 of our 5 county pools, Saxon Woods and White Plains, and the Spring Ridge Pool Complex in Jackson Avenue, Greenberg, Yonkers area together. There are 2 pools at that complex, so that'll get us started. Next weekend, when we hit Independence Day weekend, we'll open up Wilson Woods in Mount Vernon, and we'll open up Tibbetts Brook Park Pool in Yonkers. We are not going to open up Playland Pool this year. It's scheduled for reconstruction under some bonding acts that were put into place. We're going to try to start the reconstruction earlier now that we can, and since there is a beach open right next to where the pool is, we hope that'll solve some of the problems of the people in that area. Our Beeline bus system is back in business, and we're seeing that Metro North now is starting to increase some ridership on their lines, Harlem line, the New Haven line further down county, and the Hudson line along the west side of the county. The larger gatherings will help out. A lot of the not-for-profit organizations that have board meetings have had to do them by electronic method, Zoom or WebEx. Now with the new change in realities, they can meet together as a board face-to-face, and so much more is covered when you are face-to-face that will help us work in that fashion. And all of these communities, the Somers of the world, they do this over at the library, the park that's by the library, summer concerts. And if you have a big enough field, you can socially distance as long as the governor allows for larger groups. And that's what we're hoping for, so that that summer park series can go on in those communities which can do it. Day camps are also now able to open. The county has a number of day camps at our various facilities. We have one across town here in Muscoot Farm, which is down on Route 35 within the town of Somers. That's already sold out. I don't know if Catherine Chaffee has her kids there already, but she moved fast. She doesn't let any grass grow beneath her feet. And we also are looking at Trailside, which is right down and up the road, in Cross River as being another one as well. We're still waiting for some other facilities to find out how we're going to operate at present. We're waiting for state direction on gyms, fitness centers. They have limited capacity now. The hope and the expectation is they will be broadened to a larger capacity. And we're also looking at what kind of protocol we can use to open up our children's playgrounds, kids' playgrounds. Those are harder to work with. As you can imagine, every time you use some of the equipment, there's a potential it has to be sanitized before they use it again. And that has been the impediment with us trying to wrap our arms around possibly reopening Playland Amusement Park. At Playland, we have opened the miniature golf there, and in the other locations where there's miniature golf, we have the boardwalk has been open. The beach has been open now for a month, but the amusement park itself has not been open. We'll have some announcement about that just in a day or two. We finalize our arrangements. We have canceled fireworks for Kensico on July 3rd and at Playland July 4th. It's a difficult decision to make, but we think that whenever you have fireworks, you cannot ensure that the people that come to see it won't cluster together. It's just sort of human nature. If it happens at night, you're not going to be even able to see how the people are clustered together. So unfortunately, we've had to cancel that at Playland. I happen to live not far from there. A few other people may live fairly close by, and it's always a fun thing, and we're unfortunately going to have to sacrifice that also for the COVID situation. We're still working on the budgetary issues that affect the county that follow this. We've made some moves already. We've got some more planned. We're going to try to do everything we can to narrow the gap for the 2020 budget, get as close to level as we can. We had a well-balanced budget with a tax cut as we adopted the budget, and then once we hit the shutdown in society 10 days into March, sales tax and other revenues have dropped off dramatically. We will be announcing some other moves that will show some additional revenue that are not property tax revenue that will help narrow the budget gap So much of what's going to happen will depend on the state. The state's budgetary problems may exacerbate the county's budgetary problems because there's certain reimbursements we're due to get from them, which they could if they choose to cut them arbitrarily or otherwise. None of that will matter to your current level of taxation because the 2020 budget has already been put to bed on taxation, but it will give us problems for the 2021 budget, which we'll start to discuss in September and October before its adoption in November. We are looking to reschedule our game plan for Airport Master Plan, which we've announced a while back that we were going to have a full review of airport policies, develop a master plan, give it to the Board of Legislators for their review, make sure we have an environmental policy on it. We were on the cusp of starting the process in March, and then we had to postpone it at this point because we know that there's going to be robust public input, and we don't want to try to do it electronically. There's a number of people that fall off when you do that. We think we need to have those sessions in person, so we're going to reschedule and announce maybe within the next month when that reschedule will start. It means that the master plan won't be completed as we had hoped in the spring of next year, but we will be working on it and we will progress our way through. We're still making plans for the New Rochelle Family Court. New Rochelle Family Court is under construction. Thank Gary Friedman for his role on that. He honchoed some very difficult negotiations and how we had to manage the facility we're in now. Now that the court system is shut down, it gave us a breather in terms of the operational concerns of the existing court. But the bottom line is we do expect that building will be created. That will open on time, and we have some other capital projects that are on time. So with that, that's sort of a quick update. I'm happy to take any questions from our friends in the media who are here, and then we'll consult with Catherine to see if we have any that have called in. Any questions from our friends in the press? Yes, Rich. Yes, we'll have an announcement. Today is Tuesday. I'd say, Richard, no later than Thursday. We still have a little bit of due diligence to do. Keep in mind that the governor has an executive order that closes all amusement parks. So in theory, we don't have to make any announcement because of the circumstances. We could just, follow whenever that might happen. We don't know if he will or will not open up amusement parks at some point in time. He recently announced that overnight summer camps would be closed for the whole season. He may make that decision for the amusement parks, but we think we owe it to Westchester people, if we're not going to open it, that we should announce that. And part of it is that we're getting later and later into the season. It takes us at least a solid month to gear up. And where we're at now, if we're not prepared to open it, within a month's period of time, it would be open for a very short period of time this year. So, but I'd say the next couple of days, and we'll certainly get an announcement out to everybody so you can cover it, accurately. Any other questions from our friends who are here? Catherine, do we have any questions remotely? Okay. Well, if anyone from the press who's checking us online, they're welcome to give us a call. We'll be happy to follow up with them. We're happy that we're in phase 3. We'll be happy when we're in phase 4. We'll be happy when we find a vaccine and an antiviral for this, and we can try to return to some version of normal. But in the meantime, we're going to work on each of these issues, do our very best. And again, I want to thank the leaders of the town of Somers for inviting us to be here in this beautiful setting. And again, I want to one more time thank the 2 members of my team, most prominent Somers residents who've done so much for this community, Gary Friedman and Mike Kaplowitz. Thank you for being here today. Thank you all. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow, and stay safe.